Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and it's another week and another 7-round Steelers mock draft. It's my 7.0 version here during the 2025 NFL draft season. We're now less than 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL draft in Green Bay on April 24th. So we've only got a couple more mocks to go here, guys. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. We got to get to 500 likes on this video to have another mock next week. And of course, then getting close to the draft, I have my final mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we still got 2 more to go here. But if you're enjoying our content, you want more of it, make sure you click that thumbs up icon to start off today's show. So if you guys have been watching all of our mock drafts throughout the offseason, you guys know my rule this year is I'm not repeating players from previous mocks. And the reason for that is I want to put in front of you guys as many Steelers draft targets as I possibly can, and I don't want to talk about the same players week in and week out, all right? So if there's a player that you really want the Steelers to draft and I don't take them today, I probably took them in a previous mock, so you guys are free to check out our previous mocks on this channel after today's show if you want. So for today's mock, we're not going to do trades. I'm just going to go straight up chalk, no movement. Next week, and then our final mock draft, I probably will do some trades. But for today, this will be our final no-trade mock draft of the draft season. So I'll start with pick number 21, and I'm going to take Derrick Harmon out of Oregon. And honestly, I'm surprised I haven't taken him in a mock draft to this point. All right, like Harmon is just so clean of a prospect, and for a position where you have Cam Hayward and you have 2 years to find his suitable replacement and develop his suitable replacement alongside Keanu Benton. I think Harmon can be a really great rotational piece right away to get after quarterbacks, be a disruptive force. He can play 5 technique in your base, 5 down fronts, all that different stuff. But I just love his get off. I love his quickness. For a guy his size, he just moves differently, guys. And, I love the power that he brings to the table as well. I think he can really push the pocket, and I think he's got some nice finesse moves. He can hand fight. He can win with swipes and all these different things that he can use at his disposal. He's also a really good run defender. He's very stout in that regard. Maybe not special, but he can certainly hold his own in that regard. Can be a 3-down player. Now, he does have some tackling inconsistencies, and those are some things that Mike Tomlin and this coaching staff will work with him on. He's got an over 20% missed tackle rate, but part of those missed tackles is he's just so goddamn disruptive, where the running back just has the angle on him and he runs past him and he tries to get an arm tackle on him, and it's just not enough. So I really like this player, guys. I think that he would be a great replacement for Cam Hayward. He even said at the Senior Bowl that he emulates his game after Cam Hayward. So talk about a perfect replacement for the future that can also help you win now. You can see in the 4-man fronts here, he probably wouldn't be out there, at least for the next 2 years. Benton and Hayward will be your starters. But then in your 5-man fronts, when you go to that base formation, which the Steelers like to do on early downs, you can put him in there alongside Hayward and Benton. Harmon can play 3 technique or 5 technique, in my opinion. And I think that this would be one of the more stout defensive lines in the entire NFL. And then, of course, Harmon can rotate in even on your 4-man fronts to get after quarterbacks and keep Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton fresh throughout the 2025 season. So let me know down there in the comments section, would you be happy if Derrick Harmon was the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in round 1? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by simply giving me a yes or a no down there in the comments. So now, I did lie to you at the beginning of this show. All right, I said no repeat picks, but I did take this next player in a previous mock draft, but with Aaron Rodgers looking like that it's a legit possibility that he may not sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I do want to talk about this player because I took him in the 7th round back when nobody was talking about him and people had him way down their draft boards. But, when I turned on the film for Tyler Shuck out of Louisville this year for the first time, I literally couldn't believe how good he was, all right, because he had no hype around him at the time. But I really do think that this guy has the upside to be a legitimate franchise quarterback in the National Football League. Now, he is older. In fact, he's ancient for a rookie quarterback. He's going to be 26 years old this year, so his runway is going to be really, really short. But he's got great size, 6'5", 225 pounds, prototypical size. He's got good athleticism at that size as well. Right now, he's ranked 84th on the consensus big board, which is a 3rd-round projection, and it just pretty much lines up with the Steelers pick at number 83. He's also considered one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks in this class, and at 26 years old, you better be pro-ready, buddy. But my hot take here of this quarterback class is I have a higher tape and potential grade on Tyler Shuck than I do Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart. Not only do I think he's more pro-ready than those two players, but I actually think, because he's got a better arm, he's got a stronger arm, he's got more arm talent, he's more athletic than those guys, he's bigger than those guys. I actually think that his upside is higher than Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart's as well. Now, you might be sitting at home right now and telling me, but Jack, Shuck is too old. 26 years old is too old to draft a quarterback in the NFL draft. Well, I'm not personally too concerned about that. And according to a lot of the people around the league, according to all the insiders at ESPN and everywhere else, teams aren't really worried about it either, all right? Because quarterbacks play into their mid to late 30s all the time. And if Tyler Shuck hits, he can play over a decade as the franchise quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Plus, I don't really worry about him having a short runway as a player because, yes, he's going to have to prove himself in year one. At 26 years old, you don't get 2 or 3 years of runway to develop. You have to be good right away. But the quarterback that the Steelers take in round one regardless has to be good anyways because in 2026, they might have a good enough draft pick to take a quarterback when the draft is being held in Pittsburgh. All right, so I think that, the focus should be to get the quarterback they think can be the best right now. And I think by far, Tyler Shuck is the most ready to start for an NFL team out of the guys that could be there for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this year's draft class. All right, so that's where I come down on the quarterback situation here, guys. Coming up, my day 3 picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so round 4, round 5, round 6, and round 7 are coming up here in just one moment. But first, let's have word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And recently, producer Coop and myself just went to go see Jacob deGrom pitch for the Rangers here at Globe Life Park in Arlington as they took down the Boston Red Sox. And we were able to save a ton of money on those tickets so that we could splurge a little bit after the game. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It makes getting tickets to any event faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The Pirates might stink this year, guys. In fact, they're kicking the ball all over the yard this year. It's really not fun to watch, but PNC Park is still gorgeous, and Paul Skeens is still the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. So if you want to go see Skeens pitch, throughout the season here, you can get great deals on seats all over PNC Park. Right now, there's a lot of tickets available, if I'm being honest with you guys. So you can get great deals from our friends at Game Time right now, and you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So here in round 4, I'm going to take a running back here that I think could be the sleeper running back of the draft, and that is R.J. Harvey out of UCF. Now, I love Harvey's tape, guys. I think that he's got great patience, he's got great acceleration, really good vision, and he's got home run hitting long speed as well. He's a little bit smaller, but I think that he could be really, really good in the National Football League. I think he could be a legit number 1 running back. And I think if you pair him up with Jaylen Warren, I think that could be a stellar running back duo here in Pittsburgh for a very, very long time. And, there's a lot of good running backs in this class. I didn't take a running back in round 1 today. I think that's okay because the Steelers can still get really, really good players even in round 3, round 4, maybe even round 5 as well. There's a ton of running backs that fit what the Steelers want to do. And in terms of the guys that are probably going to go late day 2, early day 3, I think R.J. Harvey has the best chance to potentially become a star here in the black and gold. Number 156 here in round 5, I'm going to take Kobe Bryant, cornerback out of Kansas. Now, I love Bryant's mentality. This guy's a dog, man. This guy's so freaking competitive. He loves to talk shit. He loves to get in the face of the people that he's guarding. He likes to shut you down, and he likes to let you know about it. The thing about Bryant, though, is that he's like 170 pounds, and he's as thin as a toothpick, all right? And I know, I'm the one talking right here, but, this is somebody that probably can't survive on the outside in the NFL, in my opinion. We saw what happened to Emmanuel Forbes, who tried to play at this weight, and he just got bullied every single week in the NFL, and he's no longer even on a team in this league. So I think that you play him in the slot. He's small enough, and he's in the small type of package where I think he can just be a bulldog. In the nickel, he can be physical, he can play aggressively, and I think that he is exactly the type of nickel corner that Mike Tomlin loves to have, all right? I still think he's going to need to fill out his frame a little bit, but I love his technique, I love his savvy, and I think that he's going to be, a very crafty pro in the slot, and I would just love if he fell to round 5 and the Steelers picked him up. Then in round 6, I'm going to take another corner here to develop behind Darius Slay. And, take another dart throw here and hope that either Corey Trice Jr. or Nebraska's Tommy Hill ends up kind of developing. And now the thing I love about Hill is that he's got great size, super long arms. You can see it on the photo right there. And he's covering Kobe Hunter, by the way, one of my favorite. No, that's Travis Hunter right there. And he actually did a pretty good job of him. I mean, if you saw that Nebraska-Colorado game, they kind of shut down Travis Hunter. And, Tommy Hill's got super long arms, and he might be the best cover 2 corner, maybe even in this entire class. I think that he's so technically refined in that cover 2 role where he's playing kind of both sides, and he's got the long arms to be able to reach up, get that football if the quarterback's trying to throw that corner, but he's also got the athleticism to crash down on the flat route if that's what he wants to throw. I think that Tommy Hill is somebody that they can be deployed on 3rd downs, even on day 1 in the National Football League, because pretty much no defensive play caller likes to run Tampa 2 and pass-heavy situations more than Mike Tomlin. He loves doing that. He comes from kind of that Tampa 2 kind of school. He got his start in Tampa Bay, and he's kind of run that Tampa 2 type of system here in Pittsburgh ever since. And I think Tommy Hill, as a round 6 player, could really be a steal for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the cornerback position. Then in round 7, I'm going to take a sleeper wide receiver that I really love here in Jordan Watkins out of Ole Miss. And, I was watching some Jackson Dart film, and I was watching the game against Arkansas this past year, and I saw him throw 5 touchdowns to number 11. And I said, who the hell is this guy? There's no way he's draft eligible because I would have heard about him by now. And I looked him up. His name's Jordan Watkins. And right now on the consensus big board, he's not even projected to be drafted. All right. But you look at the profile, he's got pretty decent size, even though he's shorter. But he's got great speed, 4.37. He runs great routes. He's tough as nails. He can play in the slot or outside. I love his ability to separate down the field. I just don't know how people are not giving more love to Jordan Watkins, man. I think that he's a really good player. I think that, he can fit into whatever role the Steelers want him to play day 1. Obviously the Steelers like their wide receiver room. They like DK, obviously. They like George if they don't trade him this year. They got Calvin, who they like, and they got Roman Wilson, who they drafted on day 2 last year. So I don't think they're necessarily going to invest a high draft pick in a receiver, but Watkins can fill kind of whatever role you want him to, man. He's smart. He really blocks his ass off too, which I think is something that Arthur Smith will really love. I think this is somebody that in round 7 is gettable and can be a legitimate contributor for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the wide receiver position. So here's my mock 7.0 haul for you guys here. Derrick Harmon in round 1. Tyler Shuck falls to round 3. You get your quarterback, RJ Harvey. You get your running back there in round 4. You get a pair of corners in mid day 3 and Kobe Bryant and Tommy Hill. And then you get Jordan Watkins, one of my favorite sleeper receivers in this entire class. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F for this week's mock draft. I appreciate all of your guys' support. Of course, we've got extensive draft coverage surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers leading up to the NFL draft. And then we're going to have a live coverage of every single pick of the NFL draft right here on Steelers Talk, which of course includes the Pittsburgh Steelers picks. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.